Fever beat the Dallas Wings 102-83. This was a highly anticipated game because it was going to be the first time that Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers would be going up against one another in the WNBA.
For 5 years, basketball fans have watched a big rivalry grow. Caitlin Clark versus Paige Bueckers. They were both high school stars, but they chose different paths. Clark went to Iowa, and Bueckers went to UConn. In college, Clark won most of their games, especially in the big tournament games. Some people, like coach Geno Auriemma, wondered if Clark could be just as good in the WNBA. Last night, these two played against each other for the first time as pro players, when the Indiana Fever played the Dallas Wings. But what happened next wasn't just a game. It was Clark making history again, something only she has ever done twice. If you're excited to hear what record she broke, comment CC record breaker below. Let's go! Picture this. 2 teenage girls, both great at basketball, making headlines all across America. They were stars before they even finished high school. Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers first played against each other back then. Both were ranked among the top players in the country, but they were very different. Clark was all about scoring big, making amazing passes, and hitting deep three-point shots. Bueckers played with calm confidence, had a smooth mid-range shot, and her court vision was just as good as Clark's.
Hey, Caitlin. You've known Paige since middle school, AAU. You guys were on the U19 World Cup team together. Is there anything that maybe stood out then about her, whether it be on or off the court, that maybe still reigns true today?
I mean, I feel like she's played in the same manner that she, has since she was, whether we were on the U16 team together, U19 team together, whether it was me watching her in AAU, she's always just been smooth. She takes what the game gives her. Her midi has always been as nice as it's been this year. She just plays way older than she is. She's confident, she's smooth, she just does everything at a high level, can score from all 3 levels, and that's how she's always played, and that's obviously translated.
In college, their paths went in very different directions. Paige Bueckers chose UConn, a famous school with a long winning history under coach Geno Auriemma. She joined a team that had already won many championships. Caitlin Clark picked Iowa, a team that had never won at all, but was hungry to prove something. That choice set up some unforgettable battles in the NCAA tournament. Clark's Iowa team crushed the Bueckers' UConn dreams during March Madness. Clark played her best when it mattered most, like when she scored 41 points in a game that sent UConn home early. She outplayed Bueckers in their biggest matchups, winning 2 out of 3 games in college. After that, fans and sports experts started picking sides, and their rivalry became something bigger than college basketball.
A lot of people are saying, everything is she was Caitlin before Caitlin, she's better than Caitlin, all this stuff. That kind of stopped in the media. Caitlin Clark put up better numbers in the WNBA than Paige did.
Coach Geno Auriemma had some tough things to say about Caitlin Clark. He didn't like how she took some of her shots. He wondered if her wild style would really work in the WNBA. Geno believed his own player, Paige Bueckers, was more ready. He thought Bueckers' smart, clean game would fit better in the pros. It was like watching 2 different kinds of greatness. Clark played with fire and flash. Bueckers played with calm and control.
And they all jumped over her, but they didn't read the whole thing that she said. But nobody's printing. Diana Taurasi was right. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie. And if you're a WNBA player, if you're any kind of player, you're going to say, I'm going to make it.
Both Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers said they were ready for the WNBA. Fans were super excited. Everyone was waiting to see them play against each other as pros for the first time. Clark had won 2 out of 3 games in college against Bueckers. But now, people were asking new questions. Can Clark play just as well in the WNBA? The game was a big deal. ABC put it on TV for the whole country to watch. Clark had been struggling a bit with her team, the Fever, so this game really mattered for her name and her future.
Our player development coach yesterday, and he was just sent me a few things of even Steph going through a slump. I think he was 27 for his last 70 or something like that. The best in the world go through it, and I think that's where you can find your confidence. And I think the thing I always fall back on is I know how hard I've worked, so this isn't something that's going to last, and the best players in the world go through this. So I feel like I'm getting good shots, and I think that's why it's frustrating, because those are the shots that
But then, things started to get tricky. Clark's team, the Indiana Fever, was not playing well before the big game. They had just lost 2 games, and not 2 strong teams. They lost to the LA Sparks and the Golden State Valkyries, teams the Fever should have beaten easily. Fans were confused. They started to ask, what's going on with this team?
I feel like this stretch, this is a big game for us. I think we've struggled in the fact that we're able to play one good game, and then we play a bad game, then we play a good game, then we play a bad game. So I think for us, is like, we got to find a way to be able to stack really good games together. And then we go on the road, and, we're on a back-to-back, which is just a challenge in itself, no matter who you're playing. We play Connecticut, then we play New York. So I think Steph's message was, yes, All-Stars coming up, that break's coming up, but our focus is on these 3 games that we have left. So in that sense, I do think it's critical that our focus just remains on the game in front of us. And I feel like that's what everybody in the locker room is doing.
Behind the scenes, Caitlin Clark and her coach, Stephanie White, didn't always agree. Clark wanted to play fast, running down the court, making quick passes, and scoring fast points. But Coach White liked a slower, more careful style of basketball. This difference in how they saw the game caused real problems for the team. Clark played best when the game moved quickly. But the coach's system didn't let her do that. Then came the Atlanta Dream game, when everything boiled over. Clark and Coach White got into a heated argument on the sidelines. TV cameras caught the whole thing. Fans saw their faces. They saw the tension. They saw the truth. These two weren't on the same page.
There is definitely something going on within the locker room, the front office. Something is off, man. This is the 3rd situation in one game we have had involving Caitlin Clark and the coaching staff and pretty much another player. And it looked like Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White definitely had a situation where they was in a heated exchange right before.
Things kept getting worse for Caitlin Clark and the Fever. She was just coming back from an injury, still trying to get her groove back. Another player, Diriaisha Dantas, had just returned too, after playing with her home team. With so many players coming and going, the team had no connection. They couldn't build a steady lineup. Nobody knew their job for sure. The offense looked lost. Missed shots. Bad passes. Turnovers that ruined chances to score. Clark's fast break magic? Nowhere to be found. She said it herself. We play one good game, then a bad one, then a good one, and another bad one. Her bad shooting became a real problem. She couldn't find her usual flow. But she stayed positive, saying, I'm never going to stop shooting. She even talked about Steph Curry, saying that even great shooters have bad nights. The Fever finally broke their losing streak with a win against Atlanta. But that didn't fix everything. Yes, they won. But the stress between Clark and Coach White was still there. Their fight about how to play? It wasn't solved. Just put it on hold.
It can be frustrating when your shot isn't going in the way that you want it to, but then I look at the box and it's like, I'm really 4 shots away from having a really good game, a really good shooting game. So that's where you find your confidence, and I know those are shots that I can make, and I'm never going to stop shooting. So, until I break out of it, I'm just going to keep launching, and that's all I know, and I'm still confident in everything.
Then came the real test, the Dallas game. Everyone was watching. Would Coach White finally let Caitlin Clark play her own way? Or would the old plan, the slow, careful style, hold the team back again? This wasn't just about a game. It was a fight of ideas. Caitlin wanted to prove that her style, fast, fearless, and full of life, could work in the WNBA. And then, something special happened. Coach White finally did what Clark had been asking for. She said, Go ahead, Caitlin. Run the game. Against Dallas, White made a bold choice. She let Clark take full control of the offense. No more limits. No more slowing things down. Clark could finally push the speed, create fast breaks, play the kind of basketball she enjoyed. It wasn't just a tiny change. It was a complete change in trust. Coach White handed the keys to Caitlin and said, This team is yours now.
Lee Rue the other night had a season high 18 points. Here's Boston turning the corner. Dishing to Hull. Extra feed Clark. A deep 3. You bet. And he actually brought up stats from a shooting slump Steph Curry went through. She said that made her feel a lot better. That pass will as well. Right on the money to Mitchell.
Cunningham attacked the closeout.
Clark, the rejection of Quinterly. Clark, the flick ahead. Oh, beautifully done. Touchdown.
At the start of the game, no one knew if Caitlin's new freedom would work. Both teams were just getting started in the first quarter. The Indiana Fever looked okay. Not bad, but not great either. They were still trying to find their rhythm. Clark was passing the ball, trying to get everyone involved. But the big plays hadn't started yet. The Dallas Wings weren't backing away. They were playing hard. And the game stayed tight. You could feel it. This was going to be a real fight.
Here's Clark. being hawked by Isaiah James. Clark sidestepping three is good. Clark backing down Quinterly. 6 to shoot, fading away and dropping it in. Beautiful. Here's Clark off the screen, through the lane, feeds Howard. Another assist for Clark. That's 13 as Howard is up to 18 points.
Then came the second quarter. And that's when the magic started. Suddenly, everything worked. Caitlin Clark took over. She pushed the pace like never before, running down the court, making full court passes. Fans call them touchdown passes, because they're long, bold, and perfect. The Fever lit up the scoreboard. 36 points in just one quarter. They outscored Dallas by 21 points. In only 10 minutes. This wasn't just a good game. This was basketball art. Fast, beautiful, and powerful.
And he actually brought up stats from a shooting slump Steph Curry went through. She said that made her feel a lot better. That pass will as well. Right on the money to Mitchell. A tenacious start from Caitlin Clark. Here's Agumbawale off on a three. Long rebound. Mitchell, you're not going to catch her. Kelsey Mitchell in for two. They elevate each other because of how hard they compete. Nice look. Aaliyah Boston with a gorgeous dime to Kelsey.
Caitlin Clark wasn't just doing great on her own. Her teammates came alive too. Kelsey Mitchell caught fire. She scored 20 points, making 8 of 12 shots. That made it 21 games in a row scoring double digits. She was on fire, and it all started with Clark's spark. Natasha Howard ran the court like a gazelle. Fast, smooth, and fearless. She scored 18 points, making 8 of 9 shots. She attacked the basket like no one could stop her. Then there was Aaliyah Boston. Big, strong, unbeatable. She ruled the paint. Every time Clark pulled defenders in, Boston was right there to finish the play. The teamwork between Clark and Boston was pure magic. Like they were speaking the same language, only through basketball.
Mitchell bounces. Boston, one more time. This time Mitchell delivering. And Boston up to 13 points. Indiana shooting 66%.
Here's what made this performance truly special. The Fever scored a franchise record 64 points in the first half. They were playing the most beautiful basketball they'd shown all season.
But here's what made this night truly special. The Indiana Fever scored a team record, 64 points in the first half. That's more than they've ever scored in one half. Even more than their big game in 2016 against New York. And guess what? It was also the most points scored in one half by any WNBA team this whole 2025 season. They were playing the best basketball. Fans had never seen them. Fast, smart, sharing the ball. They had 30 assists in the game, tying another team record. 13 of those came from Caitlin Clark. She wasn't just scoring. She was helping all her teammates shine. The ball kept moving like lightning. Every pass mattered. Every time they touched the ball, they looked dangerous. Then Sophie Cunningham came in from the bench, bringing the spark they needed. She scored 13 points, including a strong layup. That helped her reach 1,500 points in her career. Her energy, her belief, her shooting. It gave the Fever another strong weapon. And Dallas had no way to stop them.
Cunningham the rebound. Cunningham swiftly up the floor, finds Howard for two. Sophie Cunningham making a huge impact off the bench, and Dallas will take a timeout.
In this lineup, Natasha Howard is the quickest post player.
That second quarter? It was one for the history books. The Fever scored 36 points in just 10 minutes, tying the third most ever scored in one quarter by the team. They were on fire, making 76.2% of their shots. Everything they threw up? It went in. And then came the big moment. A 33-9 scoring run. That lasted almost 8 minutes. The Dallas Wings were in trouble. They looked tired, confused, and lost. They just couldn't keep up with the fast speed of Indiana. Clark's run-and-gun game plan was working perfectly. This wasn't just a regular win. It was proof. Proof that Caitlin Clark's style, fast, brave basketball, could really work at the pro level. Coach White had finally set her free. And what happened after that? It was nothing short of amazing.
Good dub. 2 in a row. 2 more to All-Star. Let's go.
W. Oh, Fever Dogs, you already know what's coming. Bow, bow, bow! On to the next. Hell yeah! Can you use that one? Let's go, baby. Give your energy to Kristen. W. Now we gotta go get another one.
And then came the exact moment that made history. Caitlin Clark reached out and grabbed her 5th steal of the game. With that one play, she finished a stat line of 14 points, 13 assists, 5 steals. Only one other WNBA player had ever done that before. And now Clark had done it twice in her career. Now, she stands alone, the only player in WNBA history to post those same numbers 2 times. But it wasn't just about the steals. Clark's defense was everywhere. She even blocked a shot, and then quickly turned it into a fast break assist for Sophie Cunningham. That one play showed who she really is. She sees the court. She's smart. She shares the ball. She used her defense to create chances for her team. Dallas couldn't even run their plays right. Clark kept messing them up before they could think. Every time the Wings had the ball, it felt risky because Caitlin Clark was there.
Bounce. Clark backing down Quinterly. 6 to shoot, fading away and dropping it in. Beautiful mid-range fadeaway from Caitlin Clark.
Paige Bueckers and the Dallas Wings had no answer for Caitlin Clark. Clark played a complete game. Offense, defense, everything. But the part that hurt Dallas the most? One of their best players, Orike Unali, went 0 for 10 from the field. She only scored 2 points all game. And no, it wasn't just a bad night. It was because Clark and the Fever's defense completely shut her down. Orike looked confused. The whole Dallas team looked upset. But the Fever? They looked focused and ready. Dallas tried to get tough with Clark. They grabbed her. They didn't switch during plays. They tried to slow her down with rough defense. But nothing worked. Every time they pressured her, Clark stayed calm. She passed to a teammate. She broke through their defense. She made them pay. They just couldn't stop her. And the final score said everything. 102-83. Caitlin Clark didn't just play well. She answered all the haters. Everyone who said, she's not ready for the WNBA. Clark proved them wrong. This wasn't just a win. It was a message. Clark proved that she doesn't just belong in the league. She's here to change it. And that rivalry with Paige Bueckers? It's real now. Clark has written the first chapter. And she wrote it in a powerful way.
Cunningham attacked the closeout.
Clark, the rejection of Quinterly. Clark, the flick ahead. Oh, beautifully done. Touchdown, Fever.
Sophie Cunningham runs the route and puts her hand up in the air, gives Caitlin Clark the target. Barely over the fingertips of Hines Allen. Beautiful, beautiful pass. Catch, in stride, finish. Beautiful basketball.
I feel like this was one of their best games as far as playing Fever basketball, which is a fast-paced style of basketball. They played Fever basketball for, I would say, about 75 to 80% of the game. And we have obviously seen the style of basketball that we all know and love from the Indiana Fever, but we have only really seen it in short spurts. There have been so many games and so many times throughout this season where it feels like the Fever system is a slow-down basketball type of system. Their offense wasn't running smoothly. But in this game, they were playing quick. They were moving the ball around. They had so many points off.
The big moment has come. Caitlin Clark has proved she belongs with the best players in the WNBA. And how did she do it? By making history. The kind that only she can make. This win over Paige Bueckers and the Dallas Wings wasn't just any game. It was a sign. A sign of what the Indiana Fever can really be. When Clark plays her way. The records were broken. The stats were amazing. But the most important thing? The team played together. They moved as one. Because Coach White finally trusted Clark to lead the team her way. Now, the second half of the 2025 season is coming. And the Clark versus Bueckers rivalry? It's just getting started. Big road games are ahead. Connecticut and New York are waiting. But if this same Fever team shows up again, watch out. If you're excited to see what Clark does next, comment CC Record Breaker down below. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications, so you never miss a moment. Click the video on your screen, and we'll see you in the next one.